There's a quiet truth that changes everything when you finally see it clearly. Your life is not only shaped by the big moments people notice. It is shaped by the first hour of your day and the last hour of your night. The morning decides how you enter the world. The evening decides what you carry into the next one. Between those two places, your habits either build your future or drain it. Most people think success comes from one huge decision, one lucky break, one powerful connection, or one perfect opportunity. But life is often built in smaller pieces. It is built in the minutes before your phone starts talking to you. It is built in the choices you make when you're tired and no one is watching. It is built in the way you begin and the way you close. If your mornings are rushed and your evenings are wasted, your whole life can start to feel scattered. But if you learn how to design your mornings and decide your evenings with intention, you begin to reclaim your days. And when you reclaim your days, you reclaim your confidence, your energy, your peace, and your future. A lot of people wake up already behind. They open their eyes and immediately open their phone. They let the outside world rush in before they have even met themselves. Messages, news, notifications, opinions, and noise all arrive before the mind has had a chance to become clear. Then the day begins in reaction instead of direction. When that happens again and again, it becomes a habit. The mind learns to live from the outside in. But strong people learn to live from the inside out. They do not let the day choose them. They choose the day. That choice begins with how you rise. You do not need a perfect routine. You need a purposeful one. You do not need to be a morning person by personality. You need to become a person who respects the morning because the morning respects your future. A simple start matters. A glass of water. A few deep breaths. A quiet moment without a screen. A sentence written down about what matters most today. A little movement to wake the body. These things may look small, but small things done with discipline create powerful results over time. The point is not to impress anyone. The point is to enter the day with your mind pointed in the right direction. If you begin the morning with chaos, the whole day often carries that tone. The brain is like a room. What you place in it first can affect what stays there longest. If you place noise first, noise often stays. If you place purpose first, purpose has a better chance of leading the day. That is why designing your morning matters so much. It is not about turning yourself into a machine. It is about making your first decisions honestly and useful. What is the first thing that deserves your attention? What habit helps you think clearly? What action helps you feel grounded? What task moves your life forward before the world starts pulling at you? These questions matter more than most people realize. A designed morning gives your life structure. It lowers the emotional weight of the day. It helps you feel like you're leading instead of chasing. And if you have felt lost for a while, that feeling of leading can become medicine. It can remind you that your life is not just happening to you. You can shape it one morning at a time. There's also a hard truth that many people avoid. If you do not decide your morning, someone else will decide it for you. The phone will decide it. The inbox will decide it. The family emergency will decide it. The habit of rushing will decide it. The fear of being behind will decide it. That is why people feel so drained before noon. They have spent their most important energy on everything except their own direction. So take your first hour seriously. Make it yours. Even if it is only 30 minutes, make it meaningful. You may not control the whole world, but you can control the first move. And the first move often shapes the rest. A calm morning can protect you from a chaotic afternoon. A focused morning can create a productive day. A disciplined morning can create a stronger identity. Little by little, your mornings begin to teach your mind a new message. I am not here to drift. I am here to build. That message matters because your inner dialogue becomes your outer reality. If your day begins with ownership, your life starts to feel more owned, more directed, more powerful. But mornings are only half the story. The evening matters just as much, maybe even more, because the evening decides how you finish the day and how you enter the next one. Many people waste their evenings and then wonder why their mornings feel weak. They stay up too late. They consume too much. They let their mind spin without closing the loop on the day. Then they wake up already tired, already tense, already lacking focus. If you want better mornings, you have to decide your evenings. That means creating a closing routine. It means lowering the noise before bed. It means reviewing the day honestly. It means preparing for tomorrow in simple ways. Lay out what you need. Write down the most important task. Clear a little space. Let your mind know the day is done. This is not about being rigid for the sake of rules. It is about giving your future a better chance. A strong evening is like a bridge. It carries you from one day into the next with less friction. It helps you rest without guilt and wake without confusion. Most people do not realize how much stress comes from unfinished mental loops. A task remains open. A decision remains unresolved. A thought remains unspoken. A plan remains vague. Then the mind carries all of it into the evening like a heavy bag. No wonder sleep feels restless. No wonder the next morning feels hard. A designed evening helps close those loops. It tells the brain, this is done, and this is what comes next. That clarity reduces mental clutter. It creates a calmer transition. It also builds self-trust, because each time you close the day with purpose, you prove that you can handle life without letting it spill everywhere. This is important for anyone who has felt stuck. Feeling stuck often comes from too much internal clutter. The mind is crowded. The schedule is crowded. The emotions are crowded. The day has no clean edges. But clean edges create movement. A simple evening routine can become one of the strongest tools for regaining your sense of control. A lot of people try to create huge changes in their life without ever adjusting the bookends of their day. They want a new income, a new body, a new mindset, a new level of peace, but they leave the morning and evening untouched. That rarely works for long, because those are the places where your habits get trained. Those are the places where your discipline either grows stronger or gets weaker. If the morning is unstructured, the day starts weak. If the evening is uncontrolled, the day ends messy. That is why so many people feel like they're always starting over. They keep losing ground at the start and at the finish. But once you learn to design both ends of the day, the middle begins to improve too. You become more focused because you're not constantly recovering from chaos. You become more patient because your mind has a rhythm. You become more effective because your energy is no longer wasted in the same old leaks. Strong days do not appear by accident. They're built at the edges. Another powerful part of designing your morning is learning to begin before motivation arrives. Motivation is helpful, but it is not reliable. Some mornings it will be there. Some mornings it will not. If you depend on it, your life will feel unstable. But if you depend on a structure, your progress becomes more dependable. That structure can be simple. Get out of bed without negotiation. Move your body. Avoid the first hour of the day being ruled by other people's voices. Read or write something that points your mind toward growth. Start one meaningful task before distraction gets loud. These actions do not have to be dramatic to be powerful. In fact, the quieter they are, the stronger they often become. Because real power is not always noisy. Sometimes real power is the ability to do the useful thing before your mind invents a reason not to. That is what designing the morning teaches you. It teaches you how to lead yourself when feelings are late. It teaches you how to build a life from decisions rather than moods. That skill is priceless. The same is true at night. If you want to decide your evenings well, you have to stop thinking of the evening as a time to collapse into whatever is easiest. Too many people treat the end of the day like a free fall. They work hard all day and then let the evening swallow them. They scroll until they feel numb. They overeat. They binge on entertainment. They tell themselves they deserve to disappear for a while. Rest matters, yes. Recovery matters, yes. But mindless escape is not recovery. A chosen evening is different. A chosen evening may include rest, but it does so with awareness. It may include a screen, but not to the point of self-loss. It may include fun, but not at the cost of tomorrow. It may include silence, reflection, preparation, and a gentle ending that allows the body to recover. When you decide your evening, you stop letting the night eat the next day before it even begins. That is a major form of self-respect. It says, my future matters enough for me to end today well. A person who designs mornings and decides evenings is a person who no longer lives by accident. That kind of person knows that life is built in transitions. How you begin matters. How you end matters. What happens in between becomes stronger because the edges are stronger. Think about how much time gets lost simply because the day has no shape. People wake up late, start slow, interrupt their focus, drift through the middle, and then collapse at night. Then they wonder why nothing changes. But once you give the day shape, everything begins to improve. Shape creates rhythm. Rhythm creates momentum. Momentum creates identity. You stop feeling like a victim of the clock and start feeling like a steward of your own hours. That shift is more powerful than most people understand. It can change how you work, how you think, how you rest, and how you recover from disappointment. A shaped life is often a stronger life because it is easier to trust. It is easier to repeat. It is easier to grow inside. And growth becomes more possible when life has some order. One of the biggest obstacles to better mornings and better evenings is the idea that you need a giant overhaul. You do not. You need a few strong decisions repeated long enough to become natural. Start with one morning habit that matters. Maybe it is no phone for the first 30 minutes. Maybe it is prayer-like silence without any spiritual framing, just quiet. Maybe it is movement. Maybe it is writing the day's top 3 priorities. Maybe it is making the bed. Then choose one evening habit that matters. Maybe it is a shutdown time for screens. Maybe it is a simple review of what went well and what needs work. Maybe it is preparing the next day. Maybe it is reading a few pages instead of getting lost in endless content. Small changes are not small when they repeat. They start shaping the nervous system. They change expectations. They reduce friction. They create a pattern that says, we do not drift here anymore. We close the day with intention. We open the day with purpose. That pattern can change the emotional temperature of an entire life. There's also a deep emotional benefit to having a designed morning and a decided evening. It reduces regret. Regret grows when the day feels wasted and unfinished. It grows when you wake up with no plan and end the night with no peace. But when you begin with intention and end with closure, you give your mind a sense of completion. Completion feels powerful. It teaches the brain that effort can lead somewhere. It creates a little more confidence. It helps you sleep cleaner and wake lighter. For people who feel stuck, this matters. Feeling stuck often includes a sense that the day keeps slipping away without direction. A strong morning and a calm evening can interrupt that feeling. They do not solve every problem, but they create the conditions for real progress. They help you stop drowning in the day and start moving through it. They give your mind a way to say, I may not have solved everything, but I used my day well. That is not a small thing. That is the beginning of control returning. And control, when used well, is freedom. Not the freedom to do whatever feels good in the moment, but the freedom to build a life that no longer constantly feels chaotic. Most people want more freedom, but they do not realize that freedom is often built through structure. That great morning does not imprison you. It gives you a base. A strong evening does not trap you. It gives you closure. Together, they form a rhythm that protects your energy. If you're always beginning in confusion and ending in exhaustion, you will keep feeling behind. But if you learn how to begin with clarity and end with peace, you begin to create time, space, and confidence inside the same 24 hours. That is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. The life you want is not only waiting on bigger opportunities. It is waiting on better patterns, better mornings, better evenings, better decisions, better transitions. These things look simple, but they carry the power to change everything. Maybe the reason you have not made the progress you want is because your life has too much open space for drift. If there is no plan for the morning, you drift. If there is no decision for the evening, you drift. If there is no structure around the transition between work and rest, you drift. And drift is dangerous because it feels harmless while it slowly takes you nowhere. The answer is not to become harsh with yourself. The answer is to become deliberate. Decide what your mornings are for. Decide what your evenings are for. Make them mean something. If you know the morning is for focus, then protect it. If you know the evening is for recovery and preparation, then protect it too. That way your life stops being a random series of reactions and becomes a sequence of purposeful steps. Purpose does not remove pain, but it gives pain a direction. It does not remove stress, but it helps you carry stress with more order. It does not make everything easy, but it makes everything less chaotic. And less chaotic is a big win. Some people hear this kind of message and immediately feel guilty. They think about all the mornings they wasted and all the evenings they lost. Guilt can wake you up, but it cannot carry you forward by itself. What carries you forward is a decision to begin again with better design. So do not stare too long at the mess. Learn from it, then move. If your mornings have been passive, make the next one active. If your evenings have been chaotic, make the next one calmer. If you have been living in reaction, choose direction. Progress rarely begins with a dramatic transformation. It usually begins with a quieter, more honest routine. A better first hour, a better last hour, a better attitude in between, a better sense of what matters. The compounding effect of these decisions is real. They may feel small on their own, but they accumulate. And when they accumulate, they become identity. You become the person who handles mornings well. You become the person who finishes evenings with care. That identity can open up a much stronger life. It is also important to notice how your evenings affect your self-image. If you end the day in chaos, the brain remembers that. If you end the day in peace, the brain remembers that too. The image you have of yourself is shaped by the patterns you repeat. A person who always falls apart at night starts feeling less trustworthy. A person who ends the day with order starts feeling stronger. That strength is not fake. It is built by evidence. It grows because you can point to actual behavior. I closed the day well. I protected my mind. I prepared for tomorrow. I respected my rest. That kind of self-evidence is valuable. It can soften self-doubt. It can calm the inner critic. It can make you believe in your ability to build a better life. Because you're already building one. Every morning and evening becomes a chance to prove that you're not stuck in old patterns forever. You're capable of rewriting them. And what about the middle of the day? It becomes easier when the start and end are strong. The morning gives direction. The evening gives closure. Then the middle can actually be used for progress instead of being swallowed by confusion. People often think productivity is about pushing harder all day, but often it is about reducing the wasted energy at the boundaries. A clean beginning and a clean ending can make the middle more effective without requiring more force. That is why designing your mornings and deciding your evenings matters so much. It creates a frame, and once the frame is there, the picture becomes clearer. You're no longer just surviving the day. You are shaping it. Do not underestimate the power of repetition here. One good morning is nice. One good evening is nice. But repeated mornings and repeated evenings create a new rhythm. And rhythm changes behavior at a deep level. The body starts expecting order. The mind starts expecting direction. The emotions start expecting follow-through. That expectation matters. It means discipline becomes less of a battle and more of a standard. It begins to feel like this is just how life is now. We start strong. We close well. We recover. We move again. That standard can carry you through seasons when motivation is low because the habit is already holding you. And when a habit starts holding you, the future becomes easier to build. There will still be hard mornings. There will still be tired evenings. There will still be days when life feels loud and your focus feels thin. But even then, your designed rhythm can protect you. You do not need every day to feel perfect. You need enough structure to keep your life from falling apart when the pressure rises. This is the difference between a life that is always reacting and a life that is quietly becoming stronger. One is pulled by the moment. The other is shaped by purpose. If you want more progress, choose a purpose. If you want more peace, choose a purpose. If you want more confidence, choose a purpose. And purpose often begins in very ordinary things. The way you wake up, the way you wind down, the way you tell your mind what matters, the way you stop the day before it steals tomorrow. These ordinary decisions are not ordinary in their effect. You may be surprised by how much better life feels when you stop leaving your mornings and evenings open to random emotion. The day becomes less heavy. The mind becomes less cluttered. The heart becomes less rushed. You feel more prepared. You feel a little more powerful. You may still have work to do, but now the work has a stronger container. That is what design does. It contains energy so it can be used well. It prevents waste. It encourages consistency. It gives your future a fair chance to grow. And if you have been feeling stuck, a fair chance is a beautiful thing. It means you no longer need to wait for life to become easier before you begin. You can begin inside the life you already have. You can make the morning cleaner. You can make the evening calmer. You can use the hours you already own in a better way. So think of your life in these two powerful moments. The first hour and the last hour. The opening and the closing. The intake and the release. If those two places improve, the whole day can improve. And if the whole day improves, your week improves. Your month improves. Your sense of self improves. That is how quiet transformation works. It starts at the edges. It moves inward. It builds a stronger center. Then it starts to show up in everything else. This is not about becoming rigid. It is about becoming ready. Ready for opportunity. Ready for challenge. Ready for peace. Ready for growth. Ready to stop letting the day happen to you. Ready to make the day work for you. If your mornings look like chaos, then this is your invitation to redesign them. If your evenings look like escape, then this is your invitation to decide them. Not because you are failing, but because you are ready to build with more intention. Mornings are where you declare direction. Evenings are where you protect that direction. One sets the tone. One preserves progress. Together, they can carry a life forward. And the best part is that you do not need to wait for a better season start. The season starts when you choose to change the shape of your day. Begin with less noise. End with more peace. That alone can shift the way you live. The beautiful thing about this kind of change is that it respects real life. It does not pretend you have unlimited energy. It does not pretend you never get tired. It does not pretend every day will be ideal. It simply asks for a better design inside the life you already have. That makes it possible. That makes it sustainable. That makes it powerful. A designed morning and a decided evening are not small habits. They are acts of self-respect. They say your time matters. Your focus matters. Your future matters. And when you start treating your time like it matters, life begins to respond. So start tomorrow with purpose. End tonight with intention. Make the first hour cleaner. Make the last hour calmer. Protect the middle with the order those two habits create. Keep doing that long enough, and you will notice something powerful. Your life will stop feeling like a series of accidents and start feeling like a series of decisions. That is the shift. That is the strength. That is the beginning of a more successful life. The first hour should speak clarity, and the last hour should speak peace. Between them, let purpose do the rest. Use your morning to set the direction, and your evening to protect the progress. That rhythm can carry you farther than motivation ever could. Point one clean start and one calm close. Repeat it again and again can turn an ordinary life into a focused one. When you design the beginning and decide the end, the middle finally has a chance to become something strong. And when the old habits try to return, do not panic. Old habits always feel louder right before they lose power. That is normal. The urge to stay up too late, to wake up without purpose, to let the phone steal your first thoughts, or to let the evening disappear into numbness may still show up. But now you will recognize the pattern faster. You will know that every time you give in, you are not just losing a moment. You are weakening the rhythm that protects your future. So meet the urge with a calm decision. Stand up, turn the screen off, write the next task, put the room in order. Choose the action that supports the life you keep asking for. That is how change becomes real. Not in one dramatic battle, but in hundreds of quiet victories. Each one teaches your mind that you are no longer available for drift. Each one says your time has value. Each one says your morning and your evening are now part of your strategy, not random accidents. Keep building that strategy. Keep respecting the edges of your day. Keep closing well and starting well. Soon, the middle will follow. If you stay with this long enough, you will notice your confidence changing in a very practical way. It will not be loud at first. It will show up in how quickly you begin. It will show up in how gently you recover after a rough day. It will show up in the way you stop fearing tomorrow because you already gave today a good shape. That is the gift of designing mornings and deciding evenings. It teaches you that success is not only about what you achieve. It is also about how you enter your work and how you leave your day. When those two moments become strong, your life becomes steadier, your mind becomes calmer, and your future becomes easier to trust. That steady trust matters more than people realize, because once you trust yourself, you stop negotiating with every impulse and start honoring the plan. You stop drifting into the day and start directing it. You stop ending the night with regret and start ending it with readiness. That is the kind of inner strength that changes a life from the inside out. So keep your mornings clean, keep your evenings intentional, and let the hours in between become more valuable because of it. You're not just managing time anymore. You are training the life you want to live. Stay steady, stay focused, and let discipline do the heavy lifting.